this is just going to be a quick little extra video. A while back, last week I think, I posted a picture on my Facebook group and my Instagram, show it here, of I was working on a treadle machine, adding some length to a fitted sheet, and it was a pretty view. So I just took a picture and posted that. And I actually got several comments of people asking me, how do you add extra length to a fitted sheet? Because, you know, if you have a thick mattress, the standard fitted pockets, they don't go all the way down. If they do, it's just barely, and then they pop up and it's a headache. But the super deep pocket fitted sheets are harder to find, and they're a lot more expensive, you know, for something that really shouldn't be. So I'm going to show you what I do. Probably not the only way to do it, but it's an easy way to do it. And so I have a twin sheet here from back when my kids lived at home. I don't think we even have a twin bed in the house anymore, but I'm just going to show you briefly what I do. And so you can take it from there. And if you want to use this technique, great. So let me tip the camera down. Okay, so here is my little twin tan colored fitted sheet. You can see it's been very well used. Now on this one, it has the pocket sewn at a diagonal. It doesn't matter if it's sewn at a diagonal or sewn straight up and down. It does not matter. But what you need to do is figure out how much you're going to add. Personally, I like my pocket to my very end to be at least 3 inches below my bottom corner of my mattress. And then that way there's plenty of room for this to go underneath and cinch up underneath, okay? So for this example, I am going to be adding 4 inches of length to this, all right? So what I do is if I have a flat sheet that come along with the set and the flat sheet is longer one way or the other than it really needs to be, I'm going to take a strip of fabric from the flat sheet because it'll match perfectly. Okay, so like say I have a standard length mattress, but if I get the longer sheets, I can cut stuff off the bottom and use that for my filler, because what I'm going to be doing is slicing this and adding a filler. On this one, of course, I don't have a perfectly matching one, so I just have some strips of broadcloth. Now what I do is, however much I'm going to add, I add 1 inch to that. So say I wanted to add 4 inches, I'm making my strips 5 inches wide. That way I have seam allowance on both sides. And I just, you know, gonna sew them together to make one long strip that is longer than my entire length around. I'm not cutting it to be perfect, I just want it to be longer at this point, okay? So what I need to do is just start drawing and pick a uniform height. You know, if you're going to use a contrasting fabric and you want it to be visible, you know, put it up higher. For me, for this illustration, oops, I am just going to be drawing a line. Pretend I did this all the way around at 2 inches. Okay, and then I'm just going to come through here and slice it open at that 2 inch mark all the way around. So the bottom part, once you have this, and you have it completely separated, so you have a top and a bottom, okay? Once you have that bottom, it's not as critical that you line up everything exactly where these seams are and everything, because this is technically just a big cylinder when this is separate at that point, okay? And then, easy peasy, I get my big long strip. Pretend that this has already had all of its lengths sewed together, so it's a huge strip, okay? And pretend that this is 2 separate pieces entirely. You know, I'll just cut up a little bit more so it's easy to visualize that. And pretend, again, this is the neighborhood of make-believe sewing channel this morning. We're pretending again that I marked it carefully so it's the same length here. Okay, so at this point, when I start sewing this on, I am going to give myself a couple inches just to hang out here loose, okay? and pin it together, and I'm going to start sewing it. Just ignore my threads from where I tore this. I'm going to start sewing it right about here, leaving this free, okay? And sew all the way around, just a straight seam, 1/2 inch, 5/8, whatever you feel comfortable with, all the way around. Okay, so I am over here on Daria, there's our light, and I just want to show you how I'm going to be sewing these together. Okay, so I'm using a small allowance, probably only about a 3/8 inch seam allowance, but the little piece here is right side up. Yeah, honestly, it's reversible because it's a broadcloth, but I am calling it right side up, and I'm just sewing along. But when I got it started, I started, you know, mismatched threads and all, a couple inches in. So I have it like this, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and finish sewing this piece on and then put the adjoining piece. Okay, so here we are, pretending that this is the same strip, and I've gone all the way around, and I'm getting back to the point where I started here, okay? The little extra that I started, I'm just going to fold it back like this. All right, and lining up my edges, just continue all the way up to the point where that would overlap. So, see, I've got this little fold. Ooh, I did not judge that very carefully. I thought I was going to have a lot more extra. That's okay. So I'm just going to sew up to this point where the two kind of meet, okay? And since I'm on a old machine without reverse, I just bump it backwards a hair, stitch over the same spot. Come on. And I'm going to pull it out. So at this point, I have a little flap over here, okay? So what I'm going to do is align these two pieces wherever they meet up here and put it down and sew this seam right here. And that looks about even to me, and it looks like it's about a 1/2 inch in up here at the top. So I'm just gonna do a couple stitches, back it up, stitch again, and come all the way up to the point where I finished my sewing up at the top. Back stitch it, okay, and let's pull this off. So at this point is when I would run over to my serger, serge this off, you know, so that that is protected, and then serge all the way around the top here so that is protected. Okay, let me go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, so at this point, this is what it looks like on the outside. I have a tiny pucker there, but you know, it's not the end of the world. This is what it's looking like on the inside. Okay, this is the bottom edge of my fitted sheet. So now this is just a cylinder with elastic on the bottom. It technically doesn't matter exactly where you line it up. I'm going to try to make it somewhat close to the original point, but it doesn't really matter because this is a cylinder. The fitting part where the big, you know, triangle corner comes together is up here on this part, and it'll line up and work anyway. Actually over here on my lap because I'm still sitting at my machine, but I just want to show you. This is the right side of my fitted sheet. Okay, here's my little seam, you know, for its little pocket corner. So I'm putting my sheet right side up, and I'm going to turn this over, okay, and get it matched up so that the right side of my little add-on piece is against the right side of this fitted sheet. And then it's going to be the same thing where I just sew it at whatever seam allowance you want, probably about 1/2 inch is good, all the way around, and then come back and serge that. If you don't have a serger, zigzag it. If you want to do French seams, do French seams, whatever you want. Okay, so just pop back over here at my table so we can see the finished look. So at this point, this is what I've done. I have added that much, and both of the sides are finished off, so they're not going to fray out when I am running it through the washing machine, you know, but it gives you a whole lot more to play with. So, you know, be creative. Put a border print in there or something. Have fun with it. But I just wanted to share that because I had several people asking about it, so I hope it's helpful. And I hope you have a great day, and I will see you for my regular video soon.